Hello and welcome back, Super Nerd Friends. It is Saturday. I'm your Saturday hostess, Hailey. Gosh, well, I should just probably just start over, but I'm not because I don't feel like it. Life updates. I got a very nice letter from the City of Soldotna people about thanks for playing, we didn't get you, good luck with life sort of thing. I'm kind of glad they did send something just so I know that my application got through anyway and it didn't just get lost in the email. But what else? I'm surprised that you guys have been thinking so much about that one vlog I did with all the questions. I really didn't intend for it to be homework, you know, but on the other hand, I guess it is just sort of one of those questions that get stuck in the head. Because it's one of the big ones, you know, the what are we, where do we come from, what's the point, one of those questions that get stuck in your head that we've been asking for as, you know, as long as we have been asking questions. So, don't be too hard on yourself, Becky, that you can't answer it, because no one has in the history of ever. You know, because there's, sort of the point, you know, like I said in the first video, it isn't provable. That's why we're still asking these after however many thousands of years. You know, there's some evidence that might lean you one way or another, but at the end of the day, it isn't actually provable. So, the debate goes on. So what else? Okay, so I put in the application for the Kenai job. Hopefully that will go well. Really hopefully, because that's, you know, there aren't that many libraries up here to choose from. The little part with Sam, that was cute. I really need to get the dogs in here someplace. Actually, here are dogs. Are you in the camera yet? Oh, look, there's one. Trying to pretend it isn't happening. And this is the one who really doesn't like the camera. So we'll just... I mean, they really hate that. Or at least the one does. The first one was Ari, the second one was Tempe, and Tempe really hates the camera. So... I don't know, that's updates, friend stuff... Paper Towns. So, yeah, I'm kind of like Becky. I finished it some time ago. I don't remember. But responding to questions. With Margot's reaction, it seemed like it was kind of really her. It was really hard to imagine at first that she didn't play all the things on purpose. You know, there was sort of accident that they found all the clues and all the clues just happened to lead them exactly to where she was. Like, I think the one that I had the most difficulty believing was her underlining the part in Whitman about taking off the door jambs, and then there was actually a note in the door jamb. Really? But, you know, I was thinking about it, I'm like, well... Maybe, like, when she was 12 or something, she thought it was really neat, and then she hid it in there, and she's just been doing that, you know, since she was young or something. And the last one she put in happened to be the, you know, just the thing that led them to the next clue, but... Man, that kind of sucks for them, you know, doing all that work, and then... whoops. You know, wasn't meant for you. But, on the other hand, really good job. Quentin should totally be a detective when he gets older, right? Like, he was calling the actual detective, who's like, very, you know, well done, son. All you need now is a beer gut, and you can take my job. You'd probably be way better at it, actually, but... as far as Quentin's decision, at the end, I liked his decision. I'm feeling... Alexis on the, there's something about it that isn't entirely, satisfying, I suppose, but it was kind of for me in a way, just because there's I don't know, this developmental arc with Quentin that I liked. Like throughout the whole thing, he's sort of growing, I mean, he is growing up, it's a growing up kind of tale, but it's subtle because it's overshadowed so much by his obsession with Margot and how he sees her and that sort of thing. But throughout the whole thing, like, you get these little glimpses of him sort of breaking out of his shell in a way. Like the one where it really became apparent to me was when he, oh, I forget the other person's name, but he emailed one of the jock bullies, I think, you know, under the Avenger or something. And he's like, you know, you shouldn't do this, and you're gonna pay them, you know, for messing up their lives and being douches. And they're like, Quentin, we know it's you, and blah blah blah. He's like, no, it's, you know, it's not me, but you should still pay them. But I think that's what happened. It's been a while since I've read that part of the book. But so he's sort of coming into his own, you know, and he keeps deferring the, I don't know, like the credit to her even when she doesn't deserve it at all. So in a way, it's almost like he's kind of being held back by his, I don't know, his awe of her in a way. Like this like stars in his eyes kind of quality. But he's sort of realizing as he goes through this that he can do things on his own, that he doesn't need Margot Ruth Spiegelman to do things for him. That's her last name, isn't it? You know, you always say it in your head, and after a while you kind of stop pronouncing it when you're reading over it, you know, when it's in the book. And then you say it out loud and it just doesn't sound right for some reason. But a thought I also had on the windows and mirrors thing. Something Becky said made me think. Sort of the nature of interpretation in general, the difference between mirrors and windows, and how sometimes, I don't know, seeing other people can help you see yourself better than actually looking at yourself can. I mean, it made me think of first Shakespeare. There's this saying that every generation has their own Shakespeare, because every generation, you know, kind of the feel changes, the philosophy changes, the people who are receiving the play changes, so they have a different reading of it than the people that came before and the people that will come after. Just, that's just the way interpretation works, you know. So everyone in the book has a different interpretation of Margot because they're all different people. That's just sort of how it is. I mean, Alexis will kind of know what I'm talking about here. It's, you know, something you're sort of trained in when you have a liberal arts education, is that you have to be really careful about interpreting something. That interpreting something and saying, I read this way. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to be careful that you don't say, I read it this way and therefore this is what the author meant, or this is how it is, therefore. I mean, you have to be careful that you're not mistaking your interpretation for truth, just because people are very apt to put themselves in their own interpretation, I guess. Just, how do I want to say this? It's, like when you read into something, you are as apt to find part of yourself in the reading, and, you know, maybe put a bit of yourself in there as well, as you are to actually read whatever it is the author intended. But, you know, the author is dead, in a way. I think, you know, it's, you probably don't. I'm not being really articulate at the moment. That's actually why I'm walking. You know, walking helps stimulate think-pan-ness words. I can words. I'm okay. But I don't know, there's an act of finding yourself when you try to find the meaning in something else, is basically what I'm saying. But, I mean, you have to be trained, in fact, to not put yourself in interpretation. That's why being neutral when you're studying something historical or trying to think of a new reading for a piece of poetry, is so difficult. Although there's some schools, especially like with literature, not with history, that says the personal interpretation, there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't know what I was talking about anymore. Mirrors and windows. Okay, so all of them have a different interpretation of Margot because all of them have, you know, all of them are different people, which I'm really happy that they included the question about which interpretation of Margot do you agree with most, because that's just as important as what we think. But on the whole, I think Q's parents' interpretation is the one I kind of adhere to the most, just because, I don't know, it seems very down to earth and not colored by a lot of excessive excitement about her exploits, I guess. I mean, they don't look up to her as some sort of godly figurehead in high school. I mean, she's a person to them, and they're not sort of led astray by hero worship like Q is, and it's not that they're, you know, not impressed with her like some people that don't like her are, but I don't know. I was kind of happy with Q at the end, just because he sort of does come to that realization that Margot is a person, and you know what Q's parents said at the beginning, that you can't be responsible for other people. Like, at the end of the day, you're responsible for you, and if you can't, I mean, you can't control other people, and if what they have planned isn't what you have planned, it's totally okay to not join them on their adventure. But I don't know, with the vessel thing, I'm with Becky in that I don't think it might work for the book, but viewing people like as watertight vessels that become cracked over time has limited reuse value, I guess, as far as this story and how much you could use it out in the real world. I mean, I don't know, I guess in a way you could almost say that maybe, wow, this video is getting along. Mine's nifty, it has a little timer up at the corner, so I can see right now it's like 12:30 minutes. Oh dear. But I mean, you could say that maybe, in a way, Quentin becomes less cracked over the course. And maybe the watertightness is him keeping in himself, instead of letting other people in and deciding his fate for him. I don't know. I'll be excited to hear what Alexis has to say, our resident John Green scholar, and maybe bring a little bit more of an author bio view into it. If anyone knows what Mr. Green was thinking when he wrote this, it would be Alexis. But now that we have reached the 13-minute point, I am going to bid you good day and good weekend, and we'll see you guys later. Bye!